I'm going to stretch out this block a little bit on the X, and I'm just going to rotate it a little bit and just make a rough ground line that's not exactly straight with a few different layers on it like this. Except I'm probably going to just make it a little bit more rough and save a few objects just by using a very stretched out block. To copy paste, I'm just copy pasting and then flipping around like this so it matches up. Let's give that a group. We're just going to use group number 1 straight away. We're going to put down a move trigger that's going to lock it to the player on the X like this. I'm just going to put in around 15 seconds so it locks to the player for that long. We have a bumpy ground, but we're going to decrease the X mod, so it's actually going to be an 80% player lock, so it's going quite slow there. The effect that I wanted is actually done quite differently, as the ground should be moving towards us, not with us, which I'll touch on soon. I'm going to put this on B4 just as a layer, then we're going to copy the values and start adding little details into it. We can put flattened out grass that's going to be stretched out over here just to add a bit of detail, maybe double stack that just to make it look a bit more convincing. Just copy pasting that and changing the size ever so slightly as we're going across. And I'm also just placing it kind of randomly. Should be able to copy paste this down and create extra layers. If I just link this, copy paste, go down a block, maybe even half a block instead, we can go onto the next editor layer and then go into the HSV settings like this and just drag the slider down a little bit just so we get a different color that's a little bit darker. I'm actually going to go ahead and change the white itself to be gray. We have to make sure this is a whole Z order in front. So let's place this here. I'm going to warp it a little bit extra to the side. That's just going to place some of these objects a little bit in a different place across the line. Then we're going to give this a brand new group number 2 and change the mod in the X. Instead of being 0.2, let's try 0.3 and see if it gives us the right look. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, no, it needs to be lower because objects closer to the camera should be moving faster. That's how parallax works. Okay, so we have this. This is good. I'm actually just going to grab these grass objects and just flip them around so they come at different times because, yeah, it was kind of looking copy-pasted that, but this is looking decent so far. This is a dumb and repetitive process, but I wanted to keep it in to show that not all creative processes are instant and you shouldn't just give up. Don't worry, progress definitely accelerated as soon as this process was done. Okay, let's just repeat that once again. Select the bottom layer, move down half a block, maybe even a little bit extra, just to create a slightly bigger gap between the layers. We're gonna go down that same increment of 0.06 downwards. These objects are getting closer to the camera. They should be scaled up, really. Not just outwards, I mean like up to like this. Maybe I'll move it even further down at this rate. Let's line it up, give it another new group. That's gonna be number 3, and we'll just set up the next movement trigger. This one can probably go a bit more than just the 0.1. I'm gonna make this 0.08, and then we're gonna change it to group number 3. Okay, here we go. Now we have a triple layer on the front of the screen, which is looking pretty cool. Oh wait, we should be moving this on a negative like this. So we're actually going past these objects. Well, obviously that's way too quick. We need to try out something like 0.05 on the negative. This is probably gonna look better, I'm not gonna lie. Putting a bigger negative number on the front. Yeah, this is better. This is exactly what it should look like, I think. This is fine. So the front layer is on minus 0.2. Then it goes down to minus 0.12. Then it goes down to minus 0.05. And I'm probably going to have another layer on the front, which is going to be group number 4, which is going to be a positive, and it's going to be like 0.06. Something very subtle. Let's turn off link controls. We can just grab the values, and I'm going to look for a bush or something I can place on the front like this one. So let's just paste the state in the color. We can go back a layer. Okay, that's already kind of a decent color here. I'm probably going to flatten it out just a little bit. I'm going to make a smaller version that's going to be even flatter here. I'm just going to flip it around upside down and just stack it like this. Maybe even stretch it just to make sure it never like shows the bottom of itself. It's a technique you'll see in a lot of video game development, I think. Just kind of wrapping that design. Let's make sure this is on group number 4. Now when we go past, we have like a bush layer there, which is cool. I obviously spent a lot of time on this ground and tweaked it a lot, but understanding the parallax I wanted straight away helped me get ideas for the decoration going forward. I'm now going to test adding a Y mod to these, like ever so slightly, on a 0.04 or something, just to see what it looks like when I jump. Okay. This is cool. It's a bit more interactive, but I'm probably going to change that Y per layer. So the front needs the most. Let's put this on like 0.08. Then we can just do a decrease of 0.02 for every layer. So there's going to be 0.6, this is 0.4, and this is 0.2. Okay, here we go. That's some pretty cool immersion, I think. Just changing the curve, so it goes 0.1, 0.2, 0.5, 0.8. Just to make it a bit more minimal on the top layer, yeah.